The trapezoidal rule is another method that we can use to estimate the value of an integral, which we know is the area between a function and the x-axis on a given interval. Let's say I have this function right here, f of x, on the closed interval from a to b. And what I want to do is I want to approximate the value of the integral of f of x with respect to x from a to b. Well, if, for example, let's say a is here, and let's say b is right there. And what I want to do is approximate the value of the integral, which would be the area from a to b. Now again, that is not an area that we can determine exactly using geometric formulas, because that's obviously not a recognizable figure such as a triangle or a trapezoid or anything like that. So what we're going to do is, let's say I want to split this up into 4 equal subdivisions. Okay, so just like we did with rectangles, take the size of the interval, which, if I have let's say the scale is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be a size 4. If I split that up into 4 equal subintervals, each subinterval is going to be 1 unit long. Now, instead of making rectangles from the left, right, or midpoint, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create trapezoids. So I'm going to go up from the left side of the subinterval, and also up to the graph from the right side of the subinterval. And then instead of drawing a rectangle, I'm going to connect these 2 points, forming a trapezoid. So I have a trapezoid. The left and right sides are parallel, top and bottom are obviously not. The second subinterval will be in this region right here. So I'll go up until I hit the graph, and then connect those points, and there's another trapezoid. Next subinterval, go up until you hit the graph, draw a straight line between them, make another trapezoid, and then the last trapezoid would look right there. Now, oopsie, grabbed my cord and pulled my headphones off there. That was embarrassing. Okay, so I've got these 4 trapezoids. Now, it still isn't going to be perfect, but you can see it's a lot better estimate of this area because of the fact that I connected the points rather than squaring them off as rectangles. So how do I find each area? Well, we know the formula for area of the trapezoid is right here, 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. So for this first trapezoid, for example, that's going to be 1/2, the height is 1, times the sum of the bases. Well, that would be f of a sub, let's call this a sub 0, and let's call this a sub 1. So it would be a sub 0, f of a sub 0, that would be the left base, plus f of a sub 1 would be the right base. And I would have the area of this first trapezoid. Area of the second trapezoid would be also 1/2 times the height, but now the bases are the height at a sub 1 and the height at a sub 2. So times the bases, the base at a sub 1 and the base at a sub 2, I should have said, f of a sub 1 plus f of a sub 2. Notice the height is actually horizontal. It's the distance between the bases. So the height is 1. There's the left base and the right base. The next trapezoid, again, 1/2 of the height, which is 1, times the sum of the bases, f of a sub 2 and f of a sub 3. Last but not least, we have 1/2 times the height, 1, and then a sub 3, and instead of calling this b, let's call it a sub 4, I guess. So the left base would be f of a sub 3 plus the right base, which is f of a sub 4. And then I would take the sum of all these, add the areas of all these trapezoids together, and you have it. Now what you'll notice is that every one of these area formulas has 1/2 the height out in front. So I can factor out that 1/2 times 1, and then what's left? F of a sub 0 plus f of a sub 1. You're just basically adding all of these bases together now. Well, you'll notice f of a sub 1 is used twice, f of a sub 2 is used twice, f of a sub 3 is used twice. The only ones that are used once are the very left end of the interval and the very right interval. So we end up with f of a sub 0, f of a sub 1 we get twice, 2 times f of a sub 2 and 2 times f of a sub 3, but then we only get f of a sub 4 one time. And there we go. So on the bottom here, you can see my trapezoidal rule is going to be to evaluate an integral, take 1/2 b minus a over n. That's the whole size of the whole interval from a to b divided up n times. That's the height of our trapezoids. Times, these are all the bases of all the trapezoids. Notice the very left base and the very far right base are only used once, and every other one is used twice. So let's put this into action. Use the trapezoidal rule with n equals 6 to estimate the integral from pi over 2 to pi, x sine 3x plus 2. Now I've drawn this here. You could graph this on your calculator to get a sketch of the graph, such as I have here. And now let's evaluate this integral using f and n for a comparison after using the trapezoidal rule. So first, I need to know my height of each trapezoid, which is the size of the entire interval, which would be pi minus pi over 2, divided up into 6 pieces. So that would be pi over 2 divided up 6 times, which would be pi over 12. So that's going to be the height of each trapezoid. So I'm going to start out to evaluate this integral to find the area by going 1/2 the height. Since they're all equal subintervals, I'm going to factor those out, times. Now, f of the very left endpoint. So the very first one, let's see here. I'm going from pi over 2 to pi. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, nope. So this must be 6 pi over 12 to 7 pi over 12. And I make a little trapezoid there. Then 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, and then from 11 to 12. So I have all those trapezoids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Okay, so this is pi over 2 way on the far right, pi right here. You notice, since the height is pi over 12, each of these is going to be pi over 12 apart. So if this is 6 pi over 12, this would be 7 pi over 12, 8 pi over 12, 9 pi over 12, 10 pi over 12. So just like rectangles, that height, that size of your subinterval determines how far the height at the bases are. So I'm simply going to go here, f of pi over 2, that'll only happen once. Then this base is part of both of these trapezoids. This base is part of both of these. So each base is going to count twice except the first and last. So I'm going to have 2 7 pi over 12s plus 2 8 pi over 12s plus 2 9 pi over 12s, and so on, until we get to the last one is just pi, and that will only happen one time. Now some of these I could put in lower terms, but for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to leave them the way they are. So, and not 2 times f of this, I should have said, gosh darn it, 2 times f of 9 pi over 12, 2 times f of 10 pi over 12, 2 times f of 11 pi over 12, and then finally f of pi, or 12 pi over 12. Okay, so now if we went to our calculator, I have already taken the liberty of putting x sine 3x plus 2 in for y1. So I'm simply going to go 1/2 times the height, which was pi over 12, times y1 of pi over 2 plus 2 times y1 of 7 pi over 12. This is kind of tedious putting this in. We could put it in a table maybe and go a little faster. You can experiment with that. But 2 alpha y1 of 8 pi over 12 plus 2 times f of 9 pi over 12. So just exactly how, and look at that, I forgot a parenthesis. So let me insert a parenthesis in front of that 9. That'll happen from time to time. Make sure you keep your eyes on what you're doing now and then. Plus 2 times y1 of 10 pi over 12. Close that. Plus 2 times is my last 2 times y1 of parentheses 11 pi over 12. Whew. Finally, plus just 1 time f of pi. And we're going to check how accurate this is using fnint afterwards. I'm closing the parentheses again because now all my bases are in there. So you can scroll back and kind of take a look, make sure you've entered everything correctly, you didn't miss any of your heights. I missed a parenthesis there, being the fool that I am. Let me insert another parenthesis right there. Now I should be okay. I think everything else looked good. And yeah, it looks good. So I'll hit enter. We'll find out. We'll see how. So now let's do a math 9 on this. Math 9 from pi over 2 to pi of, and now I forgot the, what was it here? It was x sine 3x plus 2. Oh, it's y1, dummy. So all I have to do is type in y1. I could have typed in x sine 3x plus 2, but what would have been the sense of that? Okay, so 4.29. So you can tell, pretty good chance I did everything correctly because I am very close to it. So there you go. It was actually very accurate. Compared to rectangular approximation, trapezoidal rule is fantastic. Okay, so to 3 decimal places, I get 4.251 as my trapezoidal approximation. Okay, don't put the actual one that you found. Although that was like about 4.29. So this is approximately 4.251, and the actual integral using fnint of this. Oh, and by the way, if you did this on your calculator and didn't get the same answer I did, check, make sure we're using a sine function. You got to make sure you're in radian mode. So 4.299, or I guess that would be 4.300 if I round it. Let's truncate it. That way we don't have to even mess with it. 4.299. And there you go. Okay. Now, is your trapezoidal rule estimation too high or is it too low? Well, you notice it's a little bit low. Not a lot, but a little. And the reason for that is, other than the very beginning here, the majority of the graph is concave down. When you have a concave down graph and you attach those endpoints, you notice there's going to be a little gap above. If I had a graph that was concave up, and here's a trapezoid coming up, and I attach those, now you'll notice that the area under, I'm a little bit too big. Okay, so my estimate is too low, and it's because the graph is concave down for the most part. It's not completely concave down, like I said in the very beginning, but most of these tops of these trapezoids are underneath the curve, so a little bit too small. In a situation where we're concave up, now that line would be above the curve, and so you'd have a little bit overestimate. So understand that concavity can determine whether it's too big or too small. I'll continue this lesson on the next video.